Hello y'all, I'm here at Greenbrier, the America's Resort, in the President's Cottage Museum. It's a museum built back in 1835, restored back in 1930. Here's the hours. It's free. What a great museum, very historic place. Robert E. Lee came and stayed here in the Greenbrier. Just a little bit down from here. This is where I believe might have been a reference to the Robert E. Lee Shrine. It's a beautiful location. So I'm gonna walk through here. This is famous for having hosted many presidents of the United States. And in fact, you can read about that right here. Presidents who have visited the Greenbrier, and you see this long list of presidents who have been here. Other notable presidential visits. The main thing that drove me to come here is this room that's over here that I believe was considered the Robert E. Lee Shrine. And it's just beautiful. But come through the main door here, and I'll walk through here in just a little bit. But check this room out, it's so beautiful. Beautiful murals that thankfully were saved. This historical marker here speaks about this. These were originally placed here back in 1922, and then they made this a hospital. They removed the murals, and they were lost. Nobody knew where they were for all these years. And then 50 years passed, and then finally, somebody inadvertently found where these murals were, and they reattached them back in 1992. But what a beautiful mural this is. You see these depictions of Robert E. Lee right there. Scenes of different battle scenes, like for example, General Jeb Stuart leading the greatest cavalry movement of the Civil War at Brandy Station right here. What a cool mural this is. Another really cool scene right here. How awesome is this? In this building that's approaching 200 years old. This is the President's Cottage. Another scene right here. General Robert Lee came here mainly after the war, when he was president of Washington University. This picture right here shows them reattaching the murals after all those years. So glad that they were preserved. What a great treasure. Some other scenes right over through this area. How awesome is this? Beautiful. Here's a scene. General Robert E. Lee arriving at Washington College in Lexington, Virginia. You can read more about that. Here is Thomas Stonewall Jackson leading his troops at McDowell, Virginia. That scene right there. Here's letters, General Lee's farewell order right here. And what it says. Here is a depiction of General Lee, former federal General Rosecrans at White Sulphur Springs. This is back in 1868. Context. Robert E. Lee stayed in, not necessarily this building, but just down here is where Robert E. Lee stayed. In fact, it's depicted in this mural right here. This is where Robert E. Lee stayed when he was through here. Some other really cool, that's photograph. I think this is a General Robert E. Lee letter right here. How cool is this? And this mural right here depicts Robert E. Lee with members of his family on the porch of the Baltimore Row cottage he stayed in. So I heard there was a plaque that was attached to the wall where he stayed. I heard it's a private residence now, and it sounds like they may have removed the plaque or the actual historical marker. How sad would that be if somebody actually removed a historical marker from the side of the building? But how cool is this? Beautiful room. I think I'll just share one more as I walk back this way. So walking through this, back through here. Going through here, some other beautiful murals right over here as well. Beautiful piano. I hope they do all they can to help maintain this and keep the site up. It's definitely a treasure of Americana, of West Virginia in particular. So much detail here as well. Another beautiful room. So walk back out through here. This is the pamphlet that you find, the Greenbrier President's Cottage Museum. You can read about this right here. Built back in 1835. In one of its claims to fame, there has been many, many presidents have stayed here. For example, right here, the presidents of the United States who stayed in this cottage right here. And then it includes those like John Tyler, my favorite presidents, Franklin Pierce, James Buchanan, and others. And some other presidents as well. Of course, Dwight D. Eisenhower right here. See James Monroe, you see Grant right there. I'm gonna start walking up this way. I believe this is the room where presidents stayed. Beautiful area. I love this little display of white Sulphur Springs back in 1859. You can see how they say Robert E. Lee stayed in that cottage way back here in the background. He stayed in that cottage. There's displays here, more of a historical type area. Learn more about the history. All right, I'm gonna go in that last room over here. I'm almost done. Go right over here and see this room right here. There's Francis Scott Key right here. And here's the upstairs porch. How beautiful this is out here. Nice, peaceful, quiet. Beautiful place. There's the chapel right down there. It has beautiful stained glass windows. Just saw it yesterday. To put this in perspective, they say the building that Robert E. Lee stayed in was just down here. It was depicted in that mural over there. And of course, from the other perspective, so all little cottages, little shops, little stores now down this way. Beautiful. So once again, here at the President's Cottage Museum. Beautiful. I'll be right back. Beautiful location out here. I'm going to take a video from the front of the building. So here's what it looks like from the back side. From the front side, I guess you could say. Right here on this side of this hill. As it says, President's Cottage, built in 1834 or 35 by Stephen Anderson. First summer White House. Occupied by Martin Van Buren, John Tyler, Millier, Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, James Buchanan, and so forth. So beautiful. All right, glad to be able to share this with you from White Sulphur Springs here in the Greenbrier. We go walk down to Robert E. Lee's residence where he stayed here real soon. Once again, the Greenbrier. President's Cottage Museum. Beautiful. Highly recommended. Very cool. White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia.